Hello, children. Good morning. How are you? I hope that all of you are safe and doing well. Dear children, welcome to your value education class. Your value education textbook Satwa contains 12 lessons showing different values. In the first section, that is about tolerance. What do you mean by tolerance? Tolerance means appreciate the similarities and respect the differences. Tolerance is the appreciation of diversity. Tolerance is not only the ability or willingness to accept ideas, behaviors, and beliefs that are different from one's own, but it is also to show respect for them. So you can look at your textbook and there you can see there are 4 kinds of things that the tolerance have. Understanding, self-respect and mutual respect, acceptance, cooperation. Tolerance means appreciating and respecting differences in people. നമ്മൾ മറ്റുള്ളവരുടെ കഴിവുകളെല്ലാം അത് ഡിഫറൻ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള കഴിവുകളായിരിക്കും ഓരോ ആളുകൾക്കുമുള്ളത്. അതിനെ നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം? അപ്രീഷിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യണം, റെസ്പെക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യണം. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് കോൾഡ് tolerance. Okay. We are going to discuss the first lesson. The value of the lesson is understanding. Understanding means being kind, caring and considerate about others' feelings and sentiments. Let's inculcate the value understanding through a story. Are you ready? Lesson number 1. A Chung learns a lesson. Long ago, there was a junior monk, A Chung, who was very playful and found it difficult to meditate in silence. The senior supervising monk, Sifu, saw this, but he did not criticize him. Dear children, long ago, there was a junior monk and his name is A Chung. Monk means sannyasi. And he was very playful. And he always found it difficult to meditate in silence. Meditate means dhyanikkuka. So A Chung found it difficult to meditate in silence. He was very playful in nature. And there was a senior supervising monk. His name is Sifu. Sifu understand this, but he did not criticize A Chung. Criticize means ഉപദേശിക്കുക, എതിർക്കുക. So Sifu, the senior supervising monk, know the playful nature of A Chung, but he did not criticize him. Next paragraph. One night, A Chung wanted to sneak out and play. However, the doors of the temple were tightly locked. So he placed a stool near the wall, stepped on it and jumped over the wall. He happily snuck out into the night. One night, our A Chung, the junior monk, wanted to sneak out and play. Sneak out means പതുങ്ങി പോകുക, ഒളിച്ചു പോകുക. So he wanted to sneak out and play. But the doors of the temple were tightly locked. The monks were living in a temple that is called a monastery. Monastery means sannyasi madam. So the temple doors were tightly locked. So A Chung placed a stool near the wall and he stepped on it and jumped over the wall. And he was outside the night. That means he happily snuck out. Snuck out means the past of sneak out. That means പതുങ്ങി പോകുക. So he was happily snuck out into the night. Later, while Sifu was checking around, he found the stool near the wall. He immediately understood what had happened. He decided to wait for A Chung. After some time, The senior supervising monk, Sifu, he was checking around and he found there was a stool near the wall. Sifu immediately understood that what had happened. What was happened there? Echeng was snuck out with the help of the stool. So he immediately understood what had happened. Then Sifu decided for Echeng. Okay. He needed to learn the ways of the monastery, Sifu thought. When Sifu heard someone on the other side of the wall, he moved the stool and squatted with both hands on his knees. Sifu decided to wait for Echeng, and Sifu thought that Echeng should understood the ways of the monastery. Monastery means sannyasi madam. When Sifu was waiting for Echeng, he heard someone was other side of the wall. Someone was there on the other side of the wall. So Sifu moved the stool away and he scattered. Scattered means padingirikkuka. With both hands on his knees. Muttukutti padingi avadi irunnu. Echeng thought the black shadow was the stool he had put there. So when Echeng come back and he climbed the wall, he thought that the black shadow was the stool that he had already put there for escaping from the temple. He jumped onto it, but when he felt that what he landed on was unexpectedly soft, he was frightened. So Echeng thought that it was a stool that he placed when he jumped outside. Then he landed on that stool. But when he landed on the stool, he understood that it was unexpected for him. Pradishikade, he unexpectedly understood that it was soft. The stool was soft. Then he became frightened. He turned around and saw that it was Sifu and quickly ran to his room. Then our Echeng understood that it was not the stool that he landed on, but it was Sifu. Then he quickly ran to his room. Echeng quickly ran to his room. He got into bed and waited for an enraged Sifu to come in. Echeng got into his bed and he was waiting for Sifu, and he thinks that Sifu will be enraged. Enraged means angry. Deshyam. Sifu will be enraged, and he waited for that enraged Sifu to come in. Echeng thought Sifu would be very angry with him and could not sleep the whole night. Echeng thinks that Sifu would be very angry towards Echeng that he had done that mistake. So he did not sleep for the whole night. Okay, children, let's move on to the next paragraph. Next day, in the early morning class, Echeng felt restless, thinking that he would be punished. So already we know that Echeng thought Sifu would be very angry with him and he could not sleep for the whole night. So the next day, in the early morning class, Echeng felt restless. Restless means irritated, thinking that he would be punished from Sifu. Sifu had a very solemn expression but did not bring up the matter. And what about Sifu? Sifu had a very solemn expression. Solemn means serious, Gauravamaya. So Sifu had a very solemn expression in his face, but he did not bring up the matter. What was the matter? The matter that Echeng sneak out and play in the previous night. A few days passed and Sifu found that Echeng was not as playful as before and studied harder. A few days passed. That means Sifu did not ask anything to Echeng regarding the matter. After a few days, Sifu found that Echeng was not at all playful like before, and he studied very hard. From then on, Cheng worked very hard, completed his work sincerely, and reached great heights in his meditation. So, from then on, we can see that Cheng worked very hard. He was very dedicated in his studies. He completed his work sincerely and he reached great heights in his meditation also. So, in the beginning of the lesson, we know that Cheng was difficult to meditate in silence, but after this incident, his work was sincere and he reached great heights in his meditation. Last paragraph. In the story, Sifu did not use the simple and harsh method of punishment when he dealt with Cheng, but instead looked for chances to let Cheng realize his own shortcoming and change his behavior. Cheng became a better monk because Sifu was understanding and showed consideration towards him. So, okay, my dear children, what do you understand from this story? In this story, the senior supervising monk, Sifu, did not use the simple and harsh method of punishment. Alle, Sifu punishment cheyido Chengine? No, he did not punish Cheng when he dealt with Cheng, but instead looked for chances to let Cheng realize his own shortcoming and change his behavior. പണിഷ്മെൻ്റ് ചെയ്തില്ല, മറിച്ച് എന്താ ചെയ്തത്? ഹി വെയിറ്റ് ആൻഡ് ഗീവ് ചാൻസസ് ടു ഏച്ചങ്ങിന് അവസരം കൊടുത്തു. എന്തിനാണ്? ഏച്ചങ് റിയലൈസ് ഹിസ് ഓൺ ഷോർട്ട് കമ്മിങ്. ഏച്ചങ്ങിൻ്റെ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുകൾ എന്തൊക്കെയാണെന്ന് ഏച്ചങ് തന്നെ റിയലൈസ് ചെയ്തു. ആൻഡ് ഹി ചേഞ്ച് ഹിസ് ബിഹേവിയർ ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്തു. ഏച്ചങ് ബിക്കേം എ ബെറ്റർ മോങ്ക്. നൗ ഏച്ചങ് ബിക്കേം എ ബെറ്റർ മോങ്ക്. ഒരു നല്ല സന്യാസിയായി മാറി. ആരാണ്? ഏച്ചങ്. വാട്ട് വാസ് എ റീസൺ? ബിക്കോസ് Sifu was understanding and showed consideration towards him. The senior supervising monk, Sifu, was understanding. Sifu knows how to deal Cheng and he was understanding and he showed consideration towards him. So already in the beginning of the lesson, we know that the value understanding means being kind, caring, and considerate about others' feelings and sentiments. So here also Sifu is kind towards Cheng and he is caring and he considerate the feeling of Cheng, and slowly Cheng understood his mistake and he himself correct all the mistake and change his behavior. Okay children, the value of the lesson is understanding. That means you should be being kind, caring and considerate about others' feelings and sentiments. നമ്മൾ മറ്റുള്ളവരോട് കൈൻഡ് ആയിരിക്കണം, ദയുള്ളവരായിരിക്കണം, അവരെ കെയർ ചെയ്യണം, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ അവരുടെ ഫീലിങ്സും സെൻറ്റിമെൻറ്റ്സും നമ്മൾ കൺസിഡർ ചെയ്യണം. So from the story of Cheng and Sifu, Cheng learns a lesson because Sifu was understanding and showed consideration towards Cheng. Okay. My dear children, the moral of the lesson is being kind, caring and considerate about others' feelings and sentiments. So you should be always like Sifu and be kind and understand the feelings of others. Should be kind, caring and considerate about others' feelings and sentiments. Dear children, let's wind up our value education class. Always be happy and safe. Thank you.